I get to hang out with an amazing member of the Flip Lifestyle community today. I want to welcome to the podcast, Bridget Lynch. What's up, Bridget?
Hey, guys. I'm so excited to be here, Shane. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Bridget she's here for a lot of reasons, main reasons, success. She's really taking action, kicking butt, taking names. And but also we were at our Halloween extravaganza. Me and Jocelyn came and we had a costume party in the Flip Lifestyle community. We're not all just business around here, guys. We like to have fun. So I brought my Bob Ross costume out. Jocelyn was my painting. Everybody in the Flip Lifestyle community was dressed up, and we had a contest. And Bridget was Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman dominated the voting. Wonder Woman, Bridget, you are the Halloween champion of the Flip Lifestyle community.
Yes, and in honor, I have worn a Wonder Woman hoodie today. You guys,
show us that on the YouTube channel here. If you're watching on YouTube, look at that. We got the Wonder Woman on. Okay, so she's got her she's not in costume. That would be ridiculous. And I'm definitely not dressed like Bob Ross. But if you want to see the sweatshirt, you can head over. But that's not the real reason you're here. You know what I'm saying? Because we got some great things happening in your online business. I think you sold some annual plans. Like, tell us about the launch of your online business.
Okay. So first of all, I found out about you guys and went to the live event, and really, side note, I really wanted to see Priscilla Shirer because I was doing her Bible study. So I didn't know anything about you, Shane. And then I was like, who's this guy? This is cool. But
don't worry. That's usually what everyone at Life Surge says about who is this guy? Why is he up there with Priscilla Shirer and Tim Tebow? This makes no sense. Absolutely no sense.
It was amazing, though. And so we'll get more to that in just a minute. But I want to tell you that I signed up right away. We signed up on 9/11, which happens to be our anniversary. We were at our Your Income event on our anniversary weekend. So we're like, why
me
not?
And Jocelyn, if date night doesn't involve business, is it really date night? I mean, at anniversary, you need to be like making things happen in your family, right? So you were at one of our Flip Your Life live events, learning about online business, saying, hey, we're going to make our family. What better way to celebrate your anniversary than a new chapter in your whole life?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And so a week later, I have been chomping at the bit for years, Shane. And so a week later, I was like, well, Shane says all I need is a landing page and I can launch my business. I don't need anything on there. And that's what I did. I took a week and I was like, all right, let's open the doors.
Wow.
And
so
people started getting on my
week.
Yeah. People started getting on my email list, and I'm like, well, this is exciting. Cool.
So you rolled it out. And so real quick, let's talk about two things real quick. So What was your online business idea? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then what does the landing page point to? Like, because everybody's like, well, what's my idea for an online business? What gifts do I have? So what is your idea? What do you do in your online business? And like, what did you put on the landing page? Was it just like, hi, I'm Bridget? Or like, was it something else? Like, what did you do? So tell us about your idea first.
So for years, God has just put on my heart, my faith is really big for me. And so he's put on my heart that I wanted to help women. And that stems from coming out of an abusive, traumatic first marriage. And so because of that situation, I knew that I wanted to help other women to overcome the things they had been through. And so at the whole process through the Income Surge event, really it hit me on Sunday morning when we were doing some worship and some different things. And God just planted in my heart, he's like, you're going to help women that have gone through the same thing you've gone through. And so I serve women that are overcoming the pain of trauma and abuse. And I am helping them on their healing journey and pointing them to Jesus, because they're not they're not what happened to them. They are who they are in Christ. And so that's my whole goal, is to point them towards Jesus and for them to change their lives because of who they are in him.
Yeah, that's something that we talk about a lot. You know, like I think a lot of other people who teach online business, they definitely teach the follow your passions and follow your dreams. And like, those are great. There's lots of people that make great money with them. You know, I love what I do. I mean, I get up every day just loving to talk to my members and helping people. And we can all love what we do, but like, also like, people forget, man, we've all lived a lot of life, people. I mean, we've gone through valleys, right? And if you survive and you crawl out of the other side of the valley, you can look back and there's probably thousands, millions of people going through a similar valley. And, you know, our life and our story equips us to go back and help people get through the valley faster, help people to overcome challenges, help people to solve problems. And it's just always inspiring to me when I see somebody who uses what the world would say is a bad thing, or what most people would like let defeat them, these traumas that we go through. And you're like, no, I'm going to go back and I'm going to use this. This is just as good as something I like. It's I like helping people, and I like helping people through their mess and their struggles. Now, what do you sell? Do you have courses or coaching? Like, what do you like? What are you building your business around?
Yeah. So my focus is definitely community. And I want women to get inside the community and just love on them and give them resources and point them towards. I have a podcast as well. And so I point
What's
them
your podcast called?
It's called Today's Talk #4, Your Walk. Nice. Today's Talk for Your Walk.
Today's Talk for Your Walk. And what's your website? InTheLightCoach.live. Is it still your website? Or
that is
InTheLightCoach.live for anybody out there that might be needing some support in that. We always want our people to head to our members over at Bridget Lynch. All right, now, so you got this out there. I love your action taking first. So many people get hung up and won't put anything up. And we always tell people, if you get something like Kajabi or something like that, you can literally build a website in one day. I mean, you really can. All these platforms that they have out there right now, you can throw a landing page up. It's really it's not simple. It's simple, not easy. You got to put the work in, but still. Right. So you throw this landing page out there, and what did you put out first? Did you just throw a freebie up or something, or like an opt-in, or what did you do?
That's one of the things. It's like, well, kind of gear whatever your download, your video, whatever it is, gear it towards what you're planning on doing. And I was like, okay, well, I can record a 5-minute video and help people overcome shame, how to overcome shame from after what you've been through. And because I've done that. And so I'm like, okay, let's overcome shame in 5 minutes, at least 1 or 2 tips. Right. And so that's what I did. I recorded the 5-minute video and I have it as a downloadable, and people can log in on my website. They can put their email on, and they can get on my list to get the free download.
And people started opting in for this. You got some people to opt in. Where did you share it? Did you just talk about it on your podcast? Did you just put it on social media? Like where, or did Google just find it and you just started getting some people that way? Like, how did all that happen?
Yeah. So I really like Instagram. That's my most trusted site, right? That's my social. That's what I like. I'm on Facebook too. I'm on YouTube, but I really like Instagram. And so I'm on there almost daily posting stuff and pointing people towards my website.
Prolific. That's what I'm talking about. We've just did a big social media audit, right? Yeah. And we were deciding our plans for next year. So we're like, looking through things and figuring out, what are we going to do? What are we going to focus our time and attention on? Because you can't focus on everyone and everything. You just can't do it. And it's hilarious because the first one I scratched off was Instagram. I'm like, I don't use Instagram. Jocelyn doesn't use Instagram. I don't want to be on Instagram anymore. Like, why are we posting on Instagram? I don't even know. Why is anyone in our company wasting money on Instagram at all? So we decided it was the first one we scratched off. But then I love it because there's so much variation in what we all can do. You're like, it's my jam. Instagram is my jam. So it works for you. It doesn't work for me. And that's the thing. Everybody gets caught up with what's the best social media network. It's the one you'll use. And that's it. And you decided you're going to use Instagram. So now, have you opened the doors and sold product? That's what I want to know. Tell me about your journey with putting yourself out there with an actual price tag attached to it, because that's another threshold. Putting yourself out there is one thing, but then asking for money for something is a whole different hurdle. So how did that go?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, Shane says, to do this much. And so I put it out as $49 a month for my membership. And then I was like, I heard about doing like founding members. And I said, okay, well, let's do a founding member special. And talking to Coach Steven, he's like, Bridget, do it for however long you feel led to do it for. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start with that and see how it works. So it's $29 a month as a founding member right now. And then I was like, okay, let's get in on this Black Friday thing, right? And so for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I was like, hey, if you sign up now, it's an extra $10 off. So I actually have someone in for $19. I have someone in for $29. And then I had someone take advantage of my Black Friday deal that was half off of a year membership. And so she signed up for a year.
So how much? And so that was like, it would be like 300 and you charge like 150 or something ish. Like $150. So you've got your first 3 members and you've got them at multiple price points because, and this is funny, like people are like, well, wait a minute, people are paying different prices a month. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I bet when you go to the grocery store, milk's different than it was last week too. It's timing, it's context, if you put things off or you take advantage of a good deal, that's the way life works, guys. If I go buy a jug of milk for $3 and I go in next week and they're having a 99 cent loss leader milk jug sale, they're not going to give me my $2 back for the week before of the milk I've already drunk, right? Like that's just the way it is. And I love the annual plan too, because now you got someone committed that can be in the community with you for a year. And isn't it amazing? Like I mean, all you really did was throw out a landing page, a random idea. You're building a community from scratch. There's not like massive library of information in there, but you clearly explained the problem that you could solve. You clearly explained it to people. They read it, they saw it, and they said, yeah, I like this vibe. I'm going to jump in here. This might be exactly what I need. And who knows, these three people might be getting through marriage trauma right now. This might be the door that they needed to walk through to literally change their entire life forever. And gosh, if you can find, I always say, if you can find one, you can find 101. But if you can find three out of the gate, it's just a matter of finding where everybody else is hiding, right? So congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely incredible that you got that out there. Now, let me ask you a question. Were any of these strangers? Were any of these like people that know you? Like tell me more about like, where do you think these people came from?
Yeah, so these are three women that I do know, but they all were on my email list already.
Nice.
And so they kept seeing the emails and the broadcasts that I was putting out. And the one told me that signed up for the annual plan. She goes, I was just really waiting on a sign and a confirmation from God. And she goes, and I got it. And so I signed up and I'm like, great. I'm glad he did that for you.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. All right. So this is great. So we've launched, we've got people in there. We've got communities being built. You're starting to put resources in. And, you know, these first members are super valuable. That's why people always tell me like, why are you in such a hurry to launch? Like, don't we need to put some thought in this and some time in this? And I'm more of a ready, fire, aim kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, now that you have real people, real humans, real members, and, you know, it just goes to show you, we have people in our lives that need our help right now. We have people online that follow us that need help right now. You've got people out there, Pete, guys, waiting for you to launch your idea so that you can help them, and they're willing to pay you for it. You can now go right at these people and say, what do you want? What can I make for you? You can ask all these members like, hey, how can I best serve you? What's your biggest struggle? What's your frustrations? Right. Where do you feel the most alone? And they'll tell you what to make. And then if they want it, there's a very good chance other people want it too. Right. Mm-hmm. So are you doing that? Are you talking to these people? Are you asking them what they want?
Absolutely. I mean, I was on Voxer the other day with them and they're like, I don't really like this. I only get 60 seconds of video because we leave videos, voice messages, everything, right? To one another. And I go, okay, well, all of you have iPhones. Let's do an iMessage and do just a group message together, because I really want them to know that I value their opinion, because they are founding members. They are there are people that I know. I want their feedback, but I want them to be well taken care of and loved on. They're in here for a reason, and they are buying into what I'm trying to help them with, and they know they need the help. And if they know they need the help and they're seeking me, I'm just honored, really, and humbled that they would be like, yeah, Bridget, I know you and trust you, and I want to be a part of that.
Those are your first testimonials too. Have you ever used Marco Polo? Have you ever used that before? Yes. You might try Marco Polo, because I would think that people in a community, usually a lot of our people who have very serious, like trauma-based kind of niches, like that visual seeing each other really helps. Zoom calls really help. Our people love Zoom calls. That's why we have 14 live calls for the group. We have 14 community calls or something crazy every week. And it's to give people time, like, to come in and see each other and not feel alone, right? And Voxer's great. Voxer's awesome for coaching. It's one of the best tools that's ever been invented for coaching. I use it when I'm coaching people personally, because you can get that quick hit stuff. But sometimes there's no replacement. Like, me and you can see each other on this call. Right. Like, if you're watching this on YouTube, we can see each other. And there's just something about that when you can see someone smile and their laugh and their Wonder Woman sweatshirt and they're, you know, like, there's just a difference in there. So that might be something you guys.
It's funny that you say that, Shane, because honestly, being in the community, you are actually recording with my FLBF, is what I call her, my flip lifestyle best friend.
Hashtag FLBF. I've never heard that. So yes, you get credit for that from now on. Anyone does that in the community. Yeah. Who's your FLBF?
Kate Conwell. Yeah.
I'm talking to her pretty soon. See, yes, when you hang out with action takers, you take action and good things happen, like you end up on the podcast. I'm just saying.
That's right.
Right. That's hilarious. And did you all meet in the community?
Yes.
Did you?
I'm in Florida. She's in Dallas.
Oh, that's amazing. That's what I love to hear. So you all weren't even in the same place. It was just two. No. Somehow you both joined Texas and Florida, and then you ended up on all the calls together, ended up knowing each other, and ended up hanging out. Now you got your FLBF on the way across the country. That's incredible.
And
That
now
makes
we're planning to see each other in like spring break. Like seriously, like that's amazing.
That's incredible. Where you go? I'm not gonna. That's where you're going. This is a top secret meeting of the minds.
Top
But
secret.
like, that's awesome that you. Oh man, I love that. It's funny how masterminds like that have always popped up through the community. We've actually got a new tool inside the community now. We're about to launch it in January, where we can do circles and stuff. Kajabi just added this incredible tool called. They bought a company called Vibely. And right now we have forums. We have a community set up. You can kind of tag people. We have our live calls, which is like 3 a day. So you can go in and talk to people. But we're actually about to start these mastermind groups. You're all going to freak out when you see what we're building right now inside the community, where we can take people. One, we can take industry and have masterminds. So like all the teachers who are building businesses, all the medical professionals, all the trauma niches, right? Like whatever. We can have forums where you can ask questions, but we can also we can do huddles and hangouts, and we can actually make it where like you guys could meet in your own little private pod. And like, if you recruited a couple other BFFs, you all could have a little mastermind right there and you would meet in the, is that not amazing?
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's why you got to be in the community, people. I'm just telling you, you got to use Kajabi. Think about that. You never would have met her if you didn't take a chance and go join and start your business, you know?
That's right.
You know, it's funny. I thought about this the other day. I have like one friend left from high school that I still talk to. Like he's like my brother from another mother. Right. So, and I got my family, but like everyone in my life doesn't live here. Like everyone in my life that I talk to on a daily basis is from all over the place. I got friends in my mastermind is from Nashville and St. Louis. I just sent a message to a buddy of mine last night who lives in Vegas. My partners are down in Florida that I work with for live events. I've got one of my first coaching clients ever. His name's Evan. And one of just the people I love the most on earth. I mean, I just love the dude. Like he lives in California. Never would have met him if it wasn't for all this, you know?
So cool.
And gosh, it just gives you such a perspective of like what community really means. You know, I feel like some people think community is like, well, I'm trapped with the family I was born in. I'm trapped within 10 miles of the house I live, you know, like that's all I got to do. But it's not true, man. You can have like a vibrant community all over the world.
Yes.
Because of the internet. Oh, that's so great. Makes me up. I can't wait I'm going to drop that on her too. I'm going to talk to her about that because I'm recording with her later today. Yes. So this is good. So everybody, you got to watch out for part 2 of this interview series.
That's right.
It's Bridget here, then Kate later. All right. So let's talk about this. First of all, well done. Well done. I mean, congratulations. Like 90% of people out there don't ever try to take action. Now we've got a clear offer that converts, and all the energy of your online business, guys, if you're listening out there on the podcast right now, all of your energy should be getting a minimum viable product to the market as fast as possible, because you have to know what converts in the market. You can't, your idea is great, but greatness flows out of you through your lips and your fingertips into the world. And you've got to put action to it and get it out there to see if people will buy it, because we know with 8 billion humans on the planet, if 3 people buy it, more people want it. And we just have to get in front of those people. So tell me now about what are your plans going forward? You've had your first little launch. You've had your first little marketing run. You've got your first members. We're working with them to start getting those first testimonials. What are you doing now? Well, what are you doing consistently? What are you doing prolifically? What are you doing relentlessly to grow this thing? And where might you be stuck? And where can we help you move forward?
Yeah, sure. So I actually just finished a series on my podcast on tips on how to overcome. And so I've done 5 different topics on anxiety, fear, negative thoughts, negativity, period, and then doubts. And so from that series, I am taking those and making courses to put inside my community.
Man, you are following the blueprint. That is what I'm talking about. Put content out, then make it into products. That's amazing. Good job. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
So you got your podcast going. How many episodes of your podcast are there?
96.
96. Were you podcasting before?
Yeah, I've been podcasting for 2 years.
Okay, let's talk about that podcast just for a second. Okay, sure. I love that. And all right, so how is the podcast doing download wise?
Yeah, so I would say that because I've been so consistently posting about things with my website, I have also made a page on my website that connects with my podcast. And so people can find it from my website as well. But because I have been posting so much about it, and then I have been posting more about my podcast along with my website, that people are it's trafficking more. So it went from 6 listeners or, on average to 12, 15.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now Instagram, how many followers do you have there right now?
So I have a personal page, and what I do is I try to push people over because I created my business page about a month before I signed up with Flipped. And so I knew that I was going to operate with this, like God gave me the name and the light. Okay. So I've had the name for what I was going to do for a long time. And so I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to run with this. I'm going to be a coach. I am a coach. So I'm just going to own it, and I'm going to start a page. And so I started a page in August, and I started getting followers, and I think I'm up to 150 people now.
Okay. Now I want you to think about this. First, I want to say this to everybody out there. Everybody's like, well, you need a big audience to make money. No, you don't. 150 followers, 15 people listening to the podcast, 3 people in your life paying money. Like, come on, people. This it. Now just do more of that. We know the formula. We got the magic formula here that works. Okay. So that's awesome. All right. Now imagine 150 people crammed in the room with you right now.
Yeah.
Like, just imagine that bedroom you're in right now, wherever you're at. But if 150 people just clown card in there with you right now, would that not be crazy? Like, because I always, whenever I ask people that, I always feel a hesitance of like, because like it's easy to compare ourselves, and we see the big podcasters. We're not even, we're probably I bet we're a top 200 podcasts. Sure. I would say, and we have a really strong listenership, but like we're not millions of people listening every month. It's like tens of thousands, and then but people are always hesitant, like, oh, I got 1,000 people, but I'm like, what if 1,000 people walked in your house? What if 100 people walked in your room? Like, what if those 15 people were in a classroom and you were teaching them how to overcome trauma? Yeah. It would be all of your focus, all of your energy, and you would be like so amazed at the opportunity to have 15 human beings in there looking at you, right? So these numbers, man, we have to celebrate every step along the way. The reason I say if you can find one, you can find 101. It's not just to make a point. It is a little catchy saying that we have in our community and in our team, and that we say to people to encourage them, like, hey, there's more people out there that you can serve. But I say it personally because I always want to remember that I have to do for everyone what I wish I could do for everyone. Like when I'm with you right now, like there's, literally hundreds and hundreds of people in our community, but like I'm helping you right now. And like, that you're the one right now. And like when we're helping hundreds, we're having thousands, your audience will grow. Right. If you take action, it can't do anything but grow as long as you're taking action. It might grow one a week, but it doesn't matter. That's 52 people in a year. Let's go. Right. So like you have a great foundation here, but what we've got to do now is we've got to get really strategic. We've got to take the towel out of our pocket and rub some of that mud off the wall. And we've got to get really consistent with a funnel. Okay. So let's talk about your funnel. All right. It's called, all right. So we're going to talk about discovery to purchase, because I think that's where you're at now. Your offer converts. You've got members that you're building testimonials with. You need a testimonial as fast as possible. You need to be dedicating. I would give all those people as many 1-hour calls as they want right now until you can help them.
Like, I'm like, book whenever you want.
Money doesn't matter in the beginning, right? Money matters at scale. We'll get 1,000 people paying you $49 a month eventually. Let's go. That's our goal. But like right now, just serve those people as I've got testimonials on my sales page right now that happened in the first group of people that ever joined Flipped Lifestyle. You know why? Because they're still awesome. It's an amazing story. And that same testimonial gets other people to join because they see hope. So that's what you're doing right now. All right. So let's talk about your funnel. We gotta think about the funnel. There's courses that you can go watch inside the community that'll kind of lay this out. Okay.
Hey, Shane, do you want to pause 1 second?
No, let that dog bark. Let it.
Okay. All right.
I ain't worried.
I'm getting a delivery. So,
You know what? Dogs barking. One time, I tell this story a lot, but I have hundreds of stories like this. One time we were on a member call, and I was there, and me and Jocelyn were both on this member call, kind of like we were at the Halloween thing, right? And we were answering questions and having fun, and everyone started laughing. You see people laughing. They were in the chat room, like LOLing, putting the little skull dead emoji, and people were freaking out. And we're like, what is going on? And people started saying, look behind you, in the chat box. So I turned around, and at the time, my daughter's older now. She's almost 12. But she couldn't have been, I don't know how old she was. Maybe I'll say 4. We'll say 4. Yeah, okay. Yeah. 3 or 4. So Anna and Isaac we always had like kind of an open door policy. They can just come in. We don't care what's going on. Yeah, we're living real life while we're running a business, We look back, and she had gotten out an entire rotisserie chicken. And she had carried this rotisserie chicken in her little arms, like against her chest, into the thing, like on the bag, grease falling out of it all over her. And apparently for minutes, I don't know how long she had been back there, but she was smeared with grease and she had been sitting back behind us, pulling out pieces of chicken. And she was eating with her hands, her bare hands, just reaching in and pulling out whole chicken bones. And she'd been eating that on the middle of this call. Right. And like, it's still to this day, like people still talk about that call, you know? So like people are all freaked out. Always like I have no remorse about anything, man. If you got a dog barking, that's real. Now, if it gets distracting, but that was a couple of barks. Who cares? It's all good. Great. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I'm going to build it. We're going to talk about a simple 3-layer funnel right now. Okay. Right. And there's 4 areas that I'm going to focus on. This is more in depth. There's actually 7 or 8 layers to this, but I think in the beginning, it's good to kind of think about it broken down. Okay. So we always have discovery. Okay. That's the first thing we think about in our business at all times.
Okay.
How do new people discover us? Because there's only so many people in our life, only so many people in our personal network. We've got to expand out. Okay. So just lay that over to the side. That's one kind of layer to the puzzle is discovery. Okay. Now, once people discover us, they become a part of what we call our audience. Okay. All right. So an audience is someone who after discovers us, they stick around. Okay. So we have to strategically think about that. Like, how are we going to stick them around? Like, what are we wanting them to stick around for? What do we want them to do?
Right.
Okay. All right. The next layer is list. Okay. List. We always talk about list. In most contexts, we're talking about our email list here because it's not enough for people to just pay attention to us. We have to build a relationship where we can pay attention to them. And we do that by follow-up. We're able to contact them again. Okay. And like say, hey, here's not only did you like the thing you found, not only did you subscribe to my YouTube channel, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, but like you now I have a way to contact you. I'm not just relying on you to remember me. Right. So our list is the way to do that. And then we have purchase. Okay. And then there are layers in there. There's more to this, guys, but that's the most simple thing you think of in the beginning. That's the 4 threads that you got to think about, especially in online business, where all businesses have to think about these 4 things. Okay. All right. So basically that's our journey from discovery to purchase. And like, we're so serious about our funnel from discovery to purchase. Like I don't call I got an awesome team. I have an amazing team. Like you see them all the time in the community, right? Like our community manager, we've got our people that run customer service, we've got all these people, but we actually have 3 layers into our team. So I don't have like a chief marketing officer. I have we have a director of funnels and they handle discovery. We have a director of fulfillment. Our director of fulfillment handles after the purchase. So we actually use our funnel to build our team. We have people in charge of each parts of the funnel. Okay. Great. All right. So let's talk about how you get discovered. Okay. So discovery means someone stumbles across you. Okay. And then we'll talk about like strategy about this. We can follow up questions. Okay. Well, right now you have 2 amazing things you have an amazing thing to get discovered, right? You have your Instagram. Okay. You have your Instagram. So let's just say Instagram right there. We're just going to leave that at the top of the funnel. Okay. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see my funnel. Do you see that right there? Bam. Okay. At the top of the funnel, we're going to have Instagram. Okay. All right. So let's just stop there for a minute. That's a way you get discovered. We're not going to talk about if it's good or bad or ugly or whatever it is right now. Okay. So new people can find you if you hashtag stuff, whatever. Now, so if they discover you, what are they going to find? Well, you're a podcaster. Okay. So you build audience with your podcast. So in the second category, I'm going to write podcast. Let me show you that one. Podcast. Okay. All right. So let's stop right here. It is your job to get people properly through your funnel. Okay. So you have to, it's like Jocelyn always says, it's like signs in amusement parks. We go to Dollywood, we go to Six Flags, we got all these amusement parks. Jocelyn gets so mad because none of them have the signs like Disney does. You cannot get lost at Disney World. You can't because there's so many signs. They know it's their job to never let you be frustrated about what to do next. Okay. That's why they're the best amusement park in the world. So I think your Instagram needs to right now you need to have the only link that matters is go listen to my podcast. Every post, when you think about it, needs to say, check out my podcast. Look in the link in the bio. Hashtag anything where someone might be like marriage counseling, marriage trauma, recovery after divorce, like anything you can think about that would draw in. What are people actively seeking out content for if they're your avatar? Okay. Mm-hmm. You need to think about that. Your Instagram needs to be flavored by that from now on. And there's one goal of your Instagram account. Get people that discover you and follow you there to that link in the bio. So every post has to say at the end, check out the link in the bio. I got a podcast where I talk about these issues every week. And that's going to help you grow your audience. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now your podcast, what does it do? What's your goal for your podcast? Well, we have discovery, Instagram, podcast for audience. Now the next step is list. Every podcast should be giving away some kind of freebie. Okay. Like to give away, like, hey, get a free resource, go get my email list. We do 3 every episode. So I have an ad at the beginning, in the middle, and the end. And we're constantly getting hundreds of emails because we're constantly saying the podcast goes to the list. All right. So your lead magnets. Okay. What are they right now?
The tips on overcoming shame. That's my lead magnet right now.
Okay, let's say that let's say that's the first, like the first thing is I'm shameful because I went through this experience. Great. What if someone in your audience has already overcome shame, but they've not overcome anything else? I'm not ashamed of this anymore. I'm ready to go get help. What would you say was the next step in your journey after you said, enough, I'm not going to be ashamed of this, I'm putting my life back together? What would that next step be, do you think?
Fear.
Okay. So now I've got fear maybe of a new relationship or something, right? All right. You always need at least the first part of wherever you want your customer's journey to start. You need a lead magnet there. Like, what was the first thing we did at our live event? What's your idea? I know that's the beginning of the journey, but people like you come in sometimes and go, oh, I've had this on my mind forever. Well, the next step is, well, what's your product? Coaching, courses, community. So you see like exactly where we are in the journey, right? On ours, it's usually on our podcast, we found 2 things. Idea is the first giveaway we have. Hey, go get your idea. We got a training for it. Okay, cool. You can go to fliplifestyle.com/idea, and within 45 minutes, you'll have brainstormed ideas for your online business. But some people already have their idea, and they may have even started a blog or a podcast like you did already. They need to know what a landing page is. So we also have a free sales page, landing page course, because I know that's my customer's journey. So if you know that shame and fear are the first 2 things that we have to overcome in your journey, those would be 2 great lead magnets, maybe one in the beginning and one in the middle. Where do you host your podcast right now?
Anchor, Spotify.
Anchor. Okay. So
yeah.
Anchor. I don't know much about Anchor. Some platforms have what's called dynamic ad insertion. Anchor might have that. I don't know.
They don't.
Do they not?
They don't.
Okay, cool. Okay. How many episodes are you in right now?
96.
Which are they on your blog too? Are they hosted on your website or just uploaded?
They are not uploaded yet. I found myself in a place where I was like, oh, I don't have backups for this. And so I started backing them up like 10 a day. Yeah.
Download those all down. Yeah. Okay. And what you need to do is like, I would host somewhere else for your podcast. I would host somewhere like I don't even like to have my podcast hosted on the same site as my website. I just like to make a blog post about it because I like a little, what do you call it? I like a little bit of separation between like my content and other things. That way, if something breaks, I can always have my like my podcast is going to go out whether my website stays up or not. Got it. So we use Libsyn. I know that there's other places that do this. LIB is Liberated Syndication. Libsyn, LIBSYN.com. Super cheap, inexpensive. They have dynamic ad insertion. So what that means is it will go put it on every podcast. Like we're about to do a holiday promotion. And I'm making holiday commercials later today. Every podcast will have the ads. So no matter what people listen to over the holidays, they'll hear my ads. Okay.
Yes.
And all you got to do is change the feed on Spotify and Apple and stuff. You need to, and Libsyn can push it to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, everywhere for you. So, I wish I had an affiliate link because I'd say it right now, but I don't. I got to get an affiliate link set up for that. But Libsyn's what we use. But what that'll do is it'll let you, before you podcast gets huge, right? And it won't change anything on your thing. You can just upload them to Libsyn and change the feed, right? Once you get it all up there, especially here at the beginning, is perfect time to do this. You'll be able to run ads, so you can change up and test new things. Okay. All right. So now we have now your podcast gets the list. Okay. And then now the list needs to prolifically send them to things like that Black Friday sale, right? Like you will now be able to email these people and tell them about your stuff. You can also post it on Instagram when you have sales, right? The funnel is not a railroad track. It's a concept that we can share on Instagram when we're doing things. But that'll be like your sales page. So you can have that there. You can put that on your blog, and then we'll start getting those testimonials. Now, from consistent, prolific, relentless, consistently, how often are you podcasting?
It's going back to weekly in 23.
Okay, good. Okay, at least weekly minimum.
Yeah.
Okay, so weekly podcast. Are you posting daily on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, so daily posts on Instagram, but now we have a new focus. It's to get people to listen to the podcast, right? So I would even start promoting now, like 2023, first week of January is going to be a podcast about this. And I would just start rotating that and start building that audience up, getting that list up. And then what we need to do it's not just a sales page. You're going to need to go watch our webinar training, and you need to commit to having probably 2 a month minimum webinars where it doesn't matter if anybody shows up, one person shows up, you need to get down that process of getting people to join your membership, right?
Okay.
And, so if you have a daily Instagram, a weekly podcast, twice a week, or twice a month, you're going to do a webinar like every other month. Maybe you rotate them. Like I'm going to do a training on shame and a training on fear.
Okay.
Right. And then you sell your membership at the end of it to go down the next rabbit hole. That's what's going to take in 2023. That's going to start building that glacier, moving forward one snowflake at a time. Great. And build momentum. You've got everything started. You just need momentum now.
Yes.
Yeah. That funnel is going to create that downhill. So there's a funnel. That's perfect.
I'm doing my 3rd webinar next Sunday.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. I would commit to doing 2 a month minimum. Great. And then in the off weeks, I would email at least a sales promotion out just to join. So like one email, I'll email Monday through Friday. All you have to, people are like, what do I send to people? Well, you post it on Instagram, email your list that you posted on Instagram and tell them to go comment and like the post. Check out this post I just made. Yeah. Go read my cool comment about anxiety. And then, you can cross promote right now. So you don't have to think about it. The day your podcast comes out, what days your podcast come out?
Sundays.
Okay. So Monday morning email, let Sunday be organic. Then Tuesdays are better. Weekdays are better for podcasts, by the way. You might want to change that because when people are looking for stuff to listen to on the way to work and stuff, Sundays are often distracted. Okay. So like, just think, about how people live basically. But let's say that Monday, let's move it to Monday. Monday's your podcast in 2023. Monday, email people your podcast came out. Post it on Instagram. There, we've promoted both.
Yeah.
Tuesday, post on Instagram. Make a nice little thing there. But then email your list and say, hey, I just posted on Instagram. I'd love to hear what you think, and ask a question and have a link to your Instagram. Okay. And then on your podcast, you're asking people to do lead magnets. You can just record those in right now if you don't do the dynamic ad insertion. Okay. Just record them in. Who cares? Mm-hmm. And then commit to promoting, if every other Thursday you have a webinar, email your list on Thursday, post it on Instagram on Thursday. I'm having a training today, link in the bio, whatever, mm-hmm. Or Linktree. You can do a little thing called Linktree where you have like a link that clicks to other links, mm-hmm. And then just just do that. And don't even worry about how many members you got. Don't even worry about keep your founding rate open the whole first quarter. Okay. Yes. And just keep doing those founding rates, and we'll close that up. And now it's just momentum. How many can you build? And Great. You got it. And for everybody listening, if you're thinking about starting a funnel, just replace Instagram with any other thing, social media network, go on other people's podcasts, whatever, message boards, whatever. Replace podcasts with blog, YouTube. Lead magnets are always lead magnets. It doesn't matter what you give out, right? So you got an email list, and then how you're going to purchase it. And you can do 2 webinars a month too. Everybody can. It's just a matter of committing to it. All right. So what do you think about this plan? What do you think?
I love it. This is great. I can do this.
You can do this. See, people get so focused on, I'm going to get 100 members, and they always forget. Yeah, but what are you going to do that? Right? Like that, right. This is what you focus on. You don't worry. The members happen if you do these things. So now you just have to hold yourself accountable, and that your coaches and community leaders and FLBFFs are definitely going to hold you accountable.
You got it.
All right, listen, Bridget, we are proud of you. I love your idea. You've got a heart for service. You're out there doing things in the world. And I just want to thank you for being on the podcast today because, man, you sharing this is going to help somebody else take their next steps. And that's what we're all about here is next steps.
Yes, that's what I always hope for, Shane, just to help somebody else and pull them up or push them forward. That's what I want to do.